Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Saturday. It's Saturday the 15th of March, where we at the Big T, Turffontein on the Standside track, and we're racing alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville. And of course, it will be the start of a bumper weekend where we'll close things off on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, which is the big cap race meeting. Talking about the Western Cape, we'll chat to Alistair Cohen shortly about what's been happening there leading up to that big race. But let's just have a look at the betting menu for Turffontein and see what's on the go. Well, there are 9 races carded. The first race will begin at 12:20. If you are interested in playing the big one, you need to get on the tote by 14:05, and we should close things off by 16:55. So race number 1 will not form part of the exotics. It's a maiden juvenile plate, lots of unknowns over 1100 meters. Let's bring up the field, have a look at some betting before we chat to Alistair Cohen. Number 1, Master Predator, is at 11-2. We got a 7-10 shot here that kicks things off. Number 7, One Fine Winter, from the stable of Sean Terry. And then Mike and Adam Azzi's runner, number 8, Snow Queen, has been back from 9-2 into 3-1. That's anti-post. Alistair Cohen, by the time this show will be aired, which is usually late on a Friday, day 2 of the sales down in the Western Cape would have begun. And what a start to day 1, Alistair. By the time this show will be aired, as I mentioned, it will be a bit late, but day 1 will be done and dusted, and day 2 will be beginning. And it was a tremendous day for vendors and for the buyers that wanted their lots, that got them at some hefty prices.
These absolutely unbelievable day 1 of the CRS Premier Yearling Sale. It took about 20 lots to warm up. There were a few comments sort of being passed around saying, well, this is a nice balance for breeders and for buyers. It looks like there's sort of a good middle ground. There were no breeders with long faces, and there were buyers that were pretty happy. Although it looked like the second half of day 1 was really going to be the telling factor. But boy, when we got to that second half of day 1, the fireworks start to go off. 9 million rand for the half-brother of Snow Pilots by Vercingetorix out of the Great Mare Snow Dance, knockdown to Greg Bortz. A big battle. I was controlling the Zoom platform. There were a few guys that tuned in and took some hefty bids on that colt, but obviously then everything moved to inside in the marquee at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Unbelievable battle. That awkward silence, sort of 5 seconds before the hammer goes down, seeing the price at 9 million, saying, well, this is it. It's now the joint highest price ever for a yearling sold in South Africa, 9 million rand. And you know what, you hope that a horse like that can do some justice, can win some grade 1 races in South Africa, and potentially fly the flag for South Africa. Obviously the catch here is, because he's got a stallion's pedigree, is not to gull, to keep him a stallion, or keep him a colt rather, until he's able to go to stud. So that will be the biggest catch. But fantastic. So and overall, guys got what they wanted. Day 2 going to be a little bit different, because it was set up that day 1 was going to be your premier day. But all in all, big numbers. People still dream, eh?
Yeah, that is it. 9 million joint sales topper on a South African sale auction, that is. And 2019, I think it was, with Mike de Kock for Sheikh Hamdan or Sheikh Rashid, one of the sheikhs, but it was definitely 2019. And Andrew Miller tried his best to even get that 250,000 to break the record, but it was joint at 9 million. Okay, race number 1, maiden juvenile plate, 1100 meters, Alistair. I've given you the betting. There's a horse in the red, and there's a horse attracting money called Snow Queen. What are we doing in race number 1? You are going in blind.
Yeah, Dee's, look, number 7, One Fine Winter, made her debut 2 weeks earlier at Turffontein. That was on Classic Day, when beating a few highly touted horses and finishing, let's call it a quarter of a length behind a very impressive winner, Charming Cheetah, who was running into trouble 200 meters out. The same can be said for One Fine Winter, who was drawn towards the outside, gravitated towards the inside as the pack all went across. She didn't have that early pace. She came a little bit unsure, but finished off her race very, very nicely, and she's likely to step up with the run. She would have learned a hell of a lot. Sean Terry's horses generally do. With Ryan Munger on board, every opportunity that she'll win. We know that experience counts for a lot. But these, I remember number 8 Snow Queen when she got to the sales. I remember doing a little bit of homework for Candice and sent her name and her pedigree out to quite a few. She was an absolute ripper from Forthcoming stud. There was no surprise that she was a £1 million horse. The money, on what I remember, the profile of the horse, is no surprise. The mare, funny enough, was also trained by the Aussies, Wiley Wench. Probably one of the better Wiley Hall progeny around. She definitely was a stakes winner, was Wiley Wench. She's incredibly well bred, and no surprise to see her very interesting in the market without knowing anything about her credentials. I actually spent a bit of time with Adam Azzi at the sales for a couple of days, and I know that he's very happy with the shape of the yard at the moment, and why wouldn't he be? So 7-1 Fine Winter, you've got to stack her up as the horse to beat. A lot of respect for number 8 Snow Queen, and there's just one other aspect, one other avenue to talk about. Gavin Larina riding for Mark Khan. Didn't think I'd see that too easily with the son of New Predator. He would never make as much appeal as number 8 Snow Queen, or probably even number 4 Sakatini on pedigree. But with Larina taking the ride for Mark Khan, there must be something up there, and I'd anticipate that he's got, at worst, a top 4 chance, but he's going to have to be very, very good to beat number 7-1 Fine Winter.
Okay, 7-1 Fine Winter with the experience, 7-10, but note the anti-post betting support and Alistair's comments about number 8 Snow Queen. Any follow-through worth including in all bets. The exotics will begin in race number 2. It's start of the bipod. It's a juvenile plate for fillies. The distance is 1,100 meters. This is how we have them. Number 3 is trading at 5-1. Number 4, Hot Cocoa at 7-1. 5, Opera Fan at 9-2. Then we got a 6-10 shot here, and that's number 8, Tina Lovelace, who put in a fair debut. Ryan Munger up again for Sean Terry, and it is double figures the balance. So David Neverhazen has Andrew Fortune engaged for Frangipani, the daughter of Master of My Fate, and that's at 5-1. That was one of the horses that did interest me on just on the riding arrangement. But what are we doing in leg 1 of the bipod?
I think the key is what happens in race number 1 with 1 Fine Winter. If that form line is frank behind Charming Cheetah, that'll enhance the chances of this Terry horse and enhance the chances of Terry going back to back, obviously provided the first one wins. What I found very interesting with Tina Lovelace first up, D's, also from 2 weeks earlier, was that Terry sent out 3 very well bred babies, and Craig Zaki ended up on this one. So that may have been a little bit of a signal of expectations. She obviously didn't run. She ran a fair race, but she drifted in the market. She finished less than 2 lengths behind Charming Cheetah. All good, but maybe a little bit disappointing at the time. And she should show any amount of improvement with that run under the belt. So number 8, Tina Lovelace, could become a very strong first selection, but if the first one does get rolled, that might open it up for one of the first timers. I don't know if the form of the race runners is all that pretty, bar her, because number 5, Opera Fans, under that Crystal Grove form, and we saw the second horse come out and run a distant third on Thursday. So you're right. Number 3, Frangipani, this is the first fall out of the mare Tamarina. Andrew Fortune takes a ride for David Nevenhazen, and the daughter of Master of My Fate. She's just the one that appeals most on pedigree, number 3, Frangipani. So 18 Lovelace, top of my selection. Why wouldn't she be? But I think number 3, Frangipani, could be the most interesting first timer. The bipod is my suggested bet. I've gone numbers 3 and 8, but I might be a lot more confident about 8 by the time the first leg of the bipod runs.
Okay, you heard it. Race runner, keep a close eye on that form line. In race number 1, it's the same combination of Munger and Terry and the same form line. That wins, then maybe this can go with more confidence, number 8, Tina Lovelace. But many will be taking a chance, races 1 and 2, and going with that double to possibly bung some cash in race number 2 to get on the place accumulator in race number 3. It's a maiden plate over 1,600 meters, and number 1 is Cronus at 9-2. Yeah, this horse is short, exceptionally short. Number 2, Apache Chief, trading at 3-10 for a horse that's having its 15th run, but highly consistent towards it. 8 places from 15 runs, holding its form nicely. But you're going to have to be the judge on that. And I think the best way to sum this up will be on how the balance of the runners jump off the page, because nothing really does. Number 3, Sovereign Crown, that's trading at 5-1. and it's double figures the balance. 3 to 10 tells a story, Alistair Cohen. You mentioned combinations in race number 1 of Gavin Larena and Mark Khan. Gavin doesn't ride much for Brett and James Crawford, but every now and again an opportunity will come up. And there's one that's presented itself nicely here, because Gavin has partnered the horse twice, and he sticks with the horse to try and get it right. Number 2, Apache Chief. Looks too good in this field.
So the first thing that you've teed me up with is Larena Crawford. Over the last 12 months, they've teamed up 3 times for a win in 2 seconds. 2 of those seconds were with Apache Chief. The other one was with Pomodoro's Jet, who Gavin picked up by accident in the Wolf Power, I think it was the Wolf Power 1600, when meeting at Turffontein, when the Wolf Power, the race itself got moved by a week and clashed with the meeting in Cape Town, and Craig Sackey had to come to Cape Town. So Gavin defaulted onto Pomodoro's Jet. So you're right, they don't team up often, but when they have, things have gone on. Now, number 2, Apache Chief D's burnt us badly last time at 7 to 10, running second to Spy Story. That looked a decidedly moderate field. The form line is weak. But he never looked like beating Spy Story. Spy Story always had him on the ropes. There were no excuses. But now the cheek pieces go on. Always maintain that the cheek pieces are a bit like cheating, to be honest, because the horse believes it has blinkers, but obviously just giving them that little bit of focus and that determination to hopefully finish the job. On face value, D's second to immediate edge should be more than good enough to win this race. Hopefully the cheek pieces have the desired effect. And you're right, even though we were all burnt by number 2 Apache Chief last time, look at the lack of opposition. If he can't win here, then you're in trouble with number 2 Apache Chief, banker in the PA, banker in the bar pot, and I'll be at the end of my tether if he can't win this race, I must be honest. He looks nailed on. 3 to 10 short, but I think he'll win, so that's the price we got to take.
Okay, that is it. 3 to 10, a banker in everything, race number 3, and that is Apache Chief. Let's move along to race number 4, which will kick off the big one, the Big 6. It is a double header. We race alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville, so note the time. Maiden plate footies and mares 1600 meters. It will begin at 2:05. Number 1, the Mightiest at 4 to 1. 2 on a jet plane at 5 to 1. Horse number 3 is trading at 5 to 1. Number 8, Aurora Green at 3 to 1. There is some outside betting support for a first timer here. Call Harper's Way, number 10, from 33 to 1 into 20 to 1. And then we got horse number 11, Matizio, at 6 to 1. So what are we doing in leg 1 of the pick 6? Can we narrow this down to possibly 5 runners to go with the rule? Or are you playing for results? Because I think the right horses dominate the betting, but there's no standout when it comes to an outright pick at this stage of the game, anti-post.
I don't like the race, and I think we need horses here. And if we're going to go with your rule, I'm only going to feel comfortable with the field. I mean, my 4 horses in the bar pot are 1, 2, 3, and 8. Obviously, we don't need the first timer, but I mean, how's that going to help us when we go in with so many horses? The first timer can do us more of a favor. And if she did manage to win, which I think will be a bit of a long shot because I don't think this is a dead field, she'll have to be fairly good, which she might be. And then we also have the opportunity of doubling up. So, no, it's a race that I don't like. And I'll tell you why. I mean, we've got a horse like Flight Light here, who I've been for, I went for last time out and ran no sort of race. And even though on the show my exotics have been going according to plan, when they haven't, it's generally been with a horse that I've lost faith in that came out and did something next time. So Flight Light, although not part of my bipod, I'd recommend her in the pick 6. I'd recommend number 11, Matiyat, so he's not part of my bipod, and to the pick 6 as well. So we're already shooting for the stars here. 1, 2, 3, and 8. I don't really have an order of preference at a push. I'll probably go with the Azzy runner, number 8, Aurora Green. Deep Broad does temper enthusiasm to run 2 for the daughter. Give me the green light. Her second last time behind Ghostbuster. She looked a little bit green. There was support for her in the market, which for me is a good sign. I think that with the improvement factor, she's likely to go very well, but I'd hesitate on having a bet on her just because of the competitive nature in the race. Number 1, the Mightiest, James de Harbour takes the ride for Wayo Mowing. When Wayo Mowing's yard comes to form, watch out. They're in good form at the moment. So number 1, the Mightiest, must have every opportunity. Her seconds, although well beaten by Mighty Han, although a little bit flat at Hollywoodbets Greyville behind Lady My Lady, those are still good enough runs at a race of this level, and also stepping on last time behind the Merciful over 2,000 meters. She might not have had the engines just to go to the extra 200 meters. So dropping to 1,800, I see no, dropping to 1,600 rather, I see no real dangers as far as a flat run is concerned. I think she'll run a reasonable race if she doesn't win. 2 on a jet plane, hammered out of sight last time behind Blind Ambition, but Blind Ambition came with good solid Cape Town form behind Give Me Everything. It was no surprise to see Blind Ambition win, perhaps not to that volume, but still on a jet plane was easily the best of the rest. And then Queen Kersey ran a week ago. We know that the rain factor with the horse running a week apart is probably more of an advantage at this stage. She will need to confirm that last run, yes, but it was a good run behind Sheets and Goggles, and just with her being fit, I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving her out of the bar. But it's a bit of a swirl, this first leg of the bar, but I must be honest, very difficult to eliminate any of them.
Yep, I agree. And I'm with the roving bank here, number 8, Aurora Green, as Alistair is, as possibly the right horse to rove. Very difficult to go confidently with anything. And he's suggesting 1, 2, 3, and 8, and possibly, the field, if you really want to be safe, and you'll have a chance of doubling up if the first timer has to win. There's anti-post action there, 33-1 into 20-1. Let's move along to Jackpot 1, race number 5. A Pinnacle Stakes over 1,800 meters. This is the way they have it here, Alistair. Number 1, Purple Pitcher from 9-2 into 4-1. Number 2, Hotsarubi, and that is trading at 5-2. Long overdue for that next win that came last time out, which was a great ride by Pierce Stradum. Number 3, Radicchio, faultless form since coming to the Highveld. That's at 7-2. Number 4, Tamara's 3, 5-time winner and is on a hat trick, 33-10. Muzieni, take note, is plus a half kg. I never thought I'll say that with Muzi. Always keeps his weight in check, the young man. Number 5, Champagne Cocktail, that's at 9-2. I think last week, it was at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. I think he rode a horse at 50 or 51, but this is 50 plus a half. And then we go on to double figures, the balance. Well, the best weighted column is of no help in this conditions race. Usually, you could shape up with horses that are nicely treated, but not this time round, Alistair. What are we doing here, race number 5? Are we going with the cream, which seems to be, Hotsarubi, Purple Pitcher, and maybe Radicchio, or are we running for some cover here in the small field of 8 runners?
I think in the pick 6, Purple Pitcher and Radicchio will suffice, but I'm very keen on number 3, Radicchio. I'll tell you why in just a moment. The first thing I want to talk about is Purple Pitcher. He's evidently having a prep run for the Grade 1 2 weeks later, which is the Premier's Champions Challenge. Interesting that he's still a colt, so there's obviously aspirations to take this multiple Grade 1 winner and be another horse standing at stud. He's got blinkers on for the first time, so let's see if that works. Because he's such a gutsy horse and goes off to the front, I hope it doesn't give him too much of an edge and he runs a little bit too fiercely, but he does tend to settle up in front, so if that does add a little bit of extra gloss, he's going to be a hard horse to beat because he's obviously the best horse in the race. But number 3, Radicchio, let me read something to you. On the Betway London News Stakes 28 days ago, 15th of February, the only other change in this race was for Radicchio, and I quote the NHRA press release, who finished 4th and had to be capped at 103 due to the specific conditions of this race that do not allow for an increase of more than 4 points for placed runners. This horse ran to a rating of, I'm under correction, 113, and he could only get a maximum of 4 points. Receiving 10 kilos from Purple Pitcher, big runner. Also, if you go back, Drumstar, he finished in front of Royal Edition, Master Christmas, and Hotsarubi. And although Royal Edition's got 2 kilos to play with, I don't think Royal Edition's in the same class. So number 3, Radicchio, very well treated by the conditions of the previous race. According to what he ran to last time, he's got pounds in hand, and I'm going to tip him to win race number 5. Only danger, number 1, Purple Pitcher, just because he's a very good horse.
Well, Alistair Cohen has brought up a salient point when it comes to the rules and conditions and penalties that can be incurred for taking your place in certain feature races. And he singled out the London News, a horse that ran to a 113 about there. and only received a 103. That means pushed up 4 pounds or 2 kgs. So you just look at that average rating of that race. It was 110. So he ran above the average as well. And that could be the key. Well spotted, Alistair Cohen, and hopefully that is the winning move. 7-2, that's not going to last after those comments. If you believe in the math of racing, and it usually works out because it's the merit rating system that we all work on, just like golf, where you got a handicap and you're competitive. But this horse could be way under the radar when it comes to his rating, number 3, Radicchio, and that could be well spotted. You're not going to get 7-2 after those comments from Alistair Cohen. So my suggestion is find the doubles or have the bet on the head. Race number 6, a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,400 meters. And this was a horse that Alistair touched on earlier on. The winner of the Wolf Power, Pomodora's Jet, which was a chance ride for Gavin Arena, winning exceptionally well. Number 2, Give Me Another Chance. That's at 7-2. Number 4, Captain Peg at 8-1. 6, Night Bomber at 28-10. And that is it. Another small field. You know, there's small fields, but there's competitive racing throughout the day, Alistair, just judging by the quality of horse that's presented for the day. I just want to start off with this horse called Ikigai because, you know, Sean Terry, I've often mentioned it in previews and I've even chatted to you about it. You know, if there's ever one of the trainers that can save those legs, really save those legs, you know, with breaks in between, but never giving up on the individual. You know, the big one for me was definitely Alistair, which was the winner of the Met with Gard Puller and Sean Terry. What a story that was for me. But I mean, look at this horse Ikigai. You know, you never think that he was going to come back racing. You know, talking about winning, that was another whole story altogether. But credit to Sean, especially with these older horses.
Beginnings before COVID. That's Luke Ferraris. Look what Luke's gone and done in Hong Kong since. This horse, I think, I'm under the impression, in fact I know, that he was retired with aspirations of going to stud. He's still an entire, and no one wanted it. So Sean, being Sean, went, well, you know what, back to racing you go. And it was always going to be a slow burn after a break, and he was obviously let down to stud and expected to go and cover a few, and absolutely nothing happened. He was even owned by Chris Panika, who I saw the sales, by the way. He's selling a few horses, certainly not buying. And I saw Chris, and he's always great value to chat to. That's how long this horse has been going, and that's the credit to Sean Terry. And you mentioned Alistair. He wasn't the only. Think of a horse like Gold Onyx as well, who ran second in the Met, I think, as a 7-year-old after being a Grade 1 winner as a 2-year-old, and there are countless others. I mean, look, Sean does like to hold on, and I always pass the comments, including to Sean. He's a man who won't die wondering, as Sean Terry. And Ikigai, absolute credence to a multiple champion trainer, because to think that this horse would have won again as an 8-year-old, I mean, he's 8.5, he's 9 in just a few months' time. Credit to Sean. Do I like him in this race? No, is the answer. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Ikigai, and I'm a big fan of what Sean can do with the horse. 8-year-old son of Versengetrix. He's an Equine millionaire, and here he is running in early 2025. I think the two interesting horses here are numbers 1 and 6Ds. Let's start with number 6, Night Bomber, who I would make my top selection. Baron Boertz's trains. Ryan Munger takes her on the all royal blue of Larry Nestat. Interestingly enough, second one after a break last time, I think may have just taken the gloss off Night Bomber. I thought his local introduction from that deep draw in the Val Classic track was a win full of merit. He beat Fastnet Philly. I see Fastnet Philly popping up in feature race entries left, right and centre from the Crawford team, so I think that's a signal of intent. He's got that Cape Town form that just sticks out in Joburg, and he's got to be a huge chance. Number 1, Pomodora's Jet, has been absolutely brilliant at his last 2 starts. He won the World Sports Betting Grand Heritage with his head in his chest. That was probably the most impressive Grand Heritage win that I've seen, and then followed up with a Wolf Power victory out of the top draw from start to finish. The direct winner out of that form line is Truth, who I know is a top horse. Won Pomodora's Jet, just a smidge away from being an Equine millionaire himself. If he won, he'll take his career earnings past $1 million, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility. So 1 and 6, my 2 numbers in the pie pot. I'm 1 run away and 1 rating a drop away from number 2, Give Me Another Chance. There were sounds of life last time out. I think this might be a bit premature, second run after a break. If his rating went from a 109 to say a 106, 107 after this run, I'll be lining him up very, very soon. But I'm just sidestepping him one more time.
Okay, 1 and 6 for Alistair Cohen, race number 6. We move along to race number 7. It's the 4 Racing Singapore Sprint, Group 3 of 1160 meters. And this is decision time, racing fans. You know, when it comes to structure of the exotics, you either, some play to a budget, some play to a percentage, and some play to however it is going to be worked out on the day. But whatever you are doing, this is big decision time. This is where we need the help from Alistair Cohen. Because this race, it's either going to turn out to be a very expensive exercise for the exotics, where it's going to be costly, or you're going to take a chance and say in or out with the minimum spend. This is how the betting looks. Number 2, Almond C at 18 to 10. Horse number 4, Miamu at 7 to 1. Number 5, Pablona at 6 to 1. Then we got, that is it. That is it. So that is the reasoning. We got 16 runners here. We got one horse that has separated itself from the balance of the field when it comes to the betting, which is Almond C at 18 to 10. Then we got Miamu at 7 to 1 and Pablona at 6 to 1. The balance are all in double figures. Therefore, my comment at the top of this race, Alistair, it's decision times, and those, you need it to fall in place. I mean, that is it. The luck of the exotics, it's so tough, it's so difficult, whatever exotic you are playing, but when it falls into place and you've made that decision, that calculated wager, it really is, a warm feeling to catch the exotics. What are we doing in race number 7? Because this could be make or break for many punters, because you've got an 18 to 10 shot, and as I mentioned, just numbers 4 and 5 in the betting. How are you going to be guiding us here, Alistair?
I'm taking no chances, Dees, but I'm confident that we can take a bet here and win it. It's not going to take much imagination, because the 2 horses that I'm going to recommend in a quartet are 2 of the 3 at the top of the boards. In fact, they're 1 and 2 in the top of the board. But I think that you're running into almost a guarantee would be a strong word, but a very, very strong chance that you're going to get a horse at a big price at around 16 to 1 or better getting into the top 4, because the race just sets up for it. Luck and running is going to be a big factor. I wouldn't say it's going to be bottomless, but it's definitely going to be a sticky track at Turffontein on Saturday. And I think all those factors are going to bring quite a few horses from off the radar into the picture here. So my bar pot numbers, let's get that out the way. It is the final leg. There are lots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, and 14. That's 7 of the 16 runners I've got in my bar pot. I'm taking no chances. Almond C, clearly my top selection. 3 runs back in the Gardenia, she should have won. She ran into traffic. She got unlucky. She ended up running 3rd behind iStar when they changed the tactics. And to be fair, those tactics have followed through, and she's not lost any of her gloss. Gavin Lorena takes her out, outside draw, absolute gold. She deserves her place at the top of the board. She's the horse they all need to beat. 5 Poblano meets Almond C at slightly better terms for a quarter of a length. That's going to bring her into the picture. I don't think she stayed a mile last time out. I think coming back to the sprint under Muzieni, absolutely every opportunity. She caught my eye a long time ago to number 5, Poblano, and she's got a lot of ability, and she's got a lot more to come. Past that, my other numbers. 1 Elegant Ice always punches above her weight. She's underappreciated. She's grade 1 placed. She's obviously claimed a lot more black type along the way. Has number 1 Elegant Ice. Lucky Hoodalak has done a wonderful job. Anything Munga rides for the next couple of weeks before he goes back to Canada will be interesting. On pure collateral form, and yes, I'm talking from the heart a little bit here, number 3 Exchange Student, complete wrong price. I think that she can get into the top 4 at the price with an outside draw. The blinkers are off. They didn't work last time. She just didn't fire over the closing stages, which she normally does. I think with her eyes open this time around, she can bounce back. It's her 3rd run after a break. For Miamu, I've got in because her last run in the Splash Up Prix de Cup was an excellent effort. She just ran out of puff late. She ran 4th behind Siddeley. If the run and the relocation doesn't come too soon, big player. I know number 11 Night Vigil's been prepped for this run. Her last win was very encouraging. She could very easily go in again. And 14 Kalanta, I mean, with that light weight, she sticks out as a massive runner. The inside draws a worry, so she's going to need to plot her passage. But number 14, Calantha, is above average, and she could be well treated here. It's a bit of a swirl again, Dees, but double float quartet, 2 and 5 by the field, and shot for something right at the bottom of the boards to get into the top 4. Because in this going and this type of race, hugely possible.
2 and 5, Alistair, pretty confident that that form line will hold up between Almond Sea and Pablona for horses to finish in the top 4. And let's see what happens there. Race number 7, tough race, all the best in the exotics, guys. Race number 8, divided handicap, fillies and mares, 1400 meters. Number 1, Mary's Green Light, 18-10. Horse number 2, Jespilaka, is at 7-1. Number 4, Soldier's Eye, is at 8-1. Scratching, the only one on the card. Anti-post at the time of recording is number 6, Demo Star. Horse number 7, Pointer Alec Laird's runner, is at 8-1. We got number 8 at 9-2. And there is some money here for DJ Jazzy D's My Lady Soul for Alec Laird, 7-2 into 3-1. And she won at a big price last time out, any price, 25-1. And they are now going for her in a big way. Number 9, My Lady Soul, anti-post, 7-2 into 3-1. Okay, over to you, Alistair. Is it Mary's Green Light, the right horse, or again, it looks like a race where, although there's just 8 runners, if you're not in the camp of Mary's Green Lights, how can you minimize the spend?
I don't know if we can, Dees. I like a bit of number 4, Soldier's Eye here. I think Kelvin Habib could be well placed to ride his first winner back for Waya Mowing. I think her form in the Syringa and the now War of Athena handicap, which was known as the Jacaranda, I think puts her very much in the play. She ran with boys last time. She ran 6 lengths behind Confederate, and Confederate is one of the 3-year-old colts in the country after winning the South African Classic. So I think that she goes right into the play, and she goes to the top of my selection, number 4, Soldier's Eye. She's run with horses better than this. I think probably those horses might just have the edge over her, but the ratings come down another £2. I'm a fan of her on Saturday. Number 9, My Lady Soul, funny enough, the yearling out of the mare Winterwood, which is obviously, I think it was a full brother, funny enough, to My Lady Soul, went for over R1 million on Thursday night. Don't know where that win came from last time, but beat Avo on Toast as if she was a grade 1 horse. Number 9, My Lady Soul, a little bit harder, but with 52 kilos on the back, she's banging the race. And then up the page, those 2 at the top of the weights cannot be left out. 1, Mary's Green Light, going about her business nicely. Good run behind Player last time. Form line's working out to be a reasonable piece of form. The run to Imalenze Yokudutuma also stands out, because that is now grade 1 place in the HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes, so difficult to write off her chances. And number 2, Jespilaka, better than her last run on her penultimate start to Chrome Tourmaline. She's got to go into the play. Very good filly, 3rd run after a break, expecting better. Optimistic that she'll get into the top 3. Number 2, Jespilaka. So 4, Soldier's Eye definitely represents a little bit of value in the race.
I agree, Alistair Cohen. Number 4, Soldier's Eye, repeat of that Syringa where she was desperately unlucky not to have won that day behind Lady Fallon. She repeats that run. I think she goes very close to winning here. Number 4, Soldier's Eye, 8-1 at the time of recording. That's the one that Alistair liked, and I'm going to row in with him. Race number 9, we close things off, 1400 meters, divided handicap, fillies and mares. The betting has them like this. Number 1, See Anyone at 8-1. We got number 3, Golden Moment at 3-1. 4, Except Cookies at 5-1. 5, Roaring Spirit at 18-10. And number 7, Last Ginger at 8-1. And it's double figures the balance. I'd like to close things off by saying, and I'm sure Alistair will also have an opinion on this, we often chat about jockeys and trainers being priced up at the top of betting boards, and that is the influence of the market. Well, the flip side to that is when you get the lesser fancied yards, and I guess to say in inverted commas, jockeys that are not in the spotlight, you could get some value. And I'm talking about Chris Yonker's runner here. Number 6, Mocha Macaroon with Nathan Klinkup. I can't believe that the horse is a 10-1 shot. 54.5 kgs. Now, Canella coming through to prank the form line last time out. And she's in excellent form. I know that she took a bit of time. What's it? 11 starts to win the maiden. But her 2 post-maiden runs have been very encouraging. I'm going to say 10-1 looks value there. I know it's from a smaller yard and one of those, horses that I'm sure many won't overlook, but I'm just looking at the price. 10-1 looks attractive to me.
She's not out of it, Dees. I think there's a lot of value to be had, and I think now structure, when it comes to making money in the last, becomes quite important, because she's not a horse that I ruled out. She's not my top selection, but she does form part of my top 4, number 6, Mocha Macaroon. She probably should have beaten Sensoria at her penultimate start, and last time out she ran with a filly who's simply better than her in the form of Destiny of Fire. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're right, if that was from a different yard, Mocha Macaroon would probably be half the price. So yeah, I do hear what you're saying, and I've got a lot of respect for her. And since getting out the maidens with a full set of shoes, like I said, she's not taken a step back, which is admirable. This is the way that I read it. I think the 2 de Kock runners, 1 See an Enemy and 5 Roaming Spirit, are chances, but not my top choices. I think number 4, Accept Cookies, ought to be in and around the action. But the 2 horses that I'm most keen on are 3 Golden Moment and 8 Princess Ilaria. I just want to start with Princess Ilaria, because in her run behind Destiny of Fire, Mocha Macaroon does have her well beat. There is a slight swing of the weights in favour of Princess Ilaria. The pure mathematics don't suggest that she'll turn that around, but I like the drop and trip for number 8, Princess Ilaria. And last time she came from an impossible position after being slow into stride. Craig Zaki had to take his medicine on the Daughter of Pomodoro, and she made up quite a bit of ground behind +4, who was obviously very well supported on that occasion. With 52 kilos, I think number 8, Princess Ilaria, does come in with a little bit of value. But I think the horse they all need to beat here, D's, is number 3, Golden Moment. She's been running in average merit rated races of 83 and 87. She's now on an average merit rating of 72. Number 3, Golden Moment. Plus, she's got a little bit of scope to improve. It's a 3rd run after a break. Trainers in top form. Jockeys in top form. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, because I don't think it's a race that lends itself to a 10 out of 10 bet. But I think if I am going to have a bet in the race, it's going to be on number 3, Golden Moment.
Okay, watch out. Terry and Munger. They've got some choice mounts together, and they could close things off here after what we're hoping for is a hot start to the day. Races 1 and 2. Maybe you can end things off in race number 3 with the Terry Munger treble. That's the way I'm reading it from the comments that we got from Alistair Cohn. Of course, there's unknowns races 1 and 2, but just on the form line of those race runners. So maybe races 1, 2, and 9. Terry Munger. Is that a nice way to possibly end that bet off, Alistair?
Yeah, I actually think you're onto a little bit of a streak here, Dees. I wouldn't put in 3 to 10 at Apache Chief, because that's just asking for trouble. 3 to 10 is not going to help us. It's not going to help us too much. I think if you're being greedy, maybe put Radicio in. I know that that's not Terry and Munger, but yeah. Now that you're putting a bow on it all, I'm expecting a good day from the pair.
Okay, let's get into your suggested bet then, Alistair Cohen. It's up on screen.
Yep, it's a bipod. Bipod gets underway in race number 2 at 5-1. 3 and 8 in the first leg, Frangipani and Tina Lovelace. By banker number 2, Apache Chief. By 1, 2, 3 and 8. I don't like that opening leg of the pick 6 at all. The mightiest on the jet plane, Quinquezi and Aurora Green. By banker number 3, Radicio. By 1 and 6, Pomodoro's Jet and Night Bomber. And then the final leg, the 4 racing Sycamore Sprinter Grade 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 and 14 all in. That's not an easy race at all with a big field.
Thanks for your time, Alistair. All the best for the weekend.
Thanks, Dees. Looking forward to it. See you soon.
All the best, Alistair Cohen, on behalf of the team and Gallop TV, myself, Dees Down, and have a blast. Find all the winners. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day if you are playing at the Big T on Saturday alongside Hollywoodbets Scottsville. And until we meet again, you take care. Salanigaste.